Ugh. Never disrespect Luke like that again. Bronte. Bronte. You don't want to know how badly he wants Lene. Oh my goodness. Oh, I didn't think it could get worse than Zanny, bro. I didn't think it could get worse than Zanny Phoebe. Oh my goodness. That shit is chopped. Oh my goodness. You're lying, Bronte. I'm not even trolling. It's super early, right? Like it's super early, but I've legit been in the Fractured Chores Discord for half an hour to an hour. I've been seeing like the common consensus around the kits and like some early calcs, right? Here's the thing. Luke with Lene and Mornai can do 2.3 million in a rotation. That's the highest in the game currently. Okay, premium team. But if you replace Lene with San Hua, it goes down to 1.4, which is around a 60+% increase because his kit scales off of his sub DPS having Toon Break boost. Oh my goodness. I don't think Lene's gonna be best in slot though. I still think he's gonna get his own teammate. But yeah, the free to play options are completely cooked when it comes to Luke currently. It's like Zanny. Yeah, I saw that male Rover skin. It was so bad I didn't even try uploading it on my community posts. That shit was so embarrassing. I was like, fuck this shit, man. I'm not even gonna post this. His dupes will fix it. Oh my goodness. There's a Rover skin, yeah, in 3.1. The female one isn't bad, but the male one is like, dude, I'd argue it's a downgrade from just a base skin. Color palette is also incredibly similar, so it doesn't really add anything new. He will be viable without Lene. Hey, I mean, you know, 1.3, 1.4 million damage without Lene. That's not bad, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with, going back to the past, remembering how it was to play Jinshi. That's not slander. Definitely not slander. But at the same time, I think Luke has like one of the cheapest teams when it comes to signature weapon. Cause like Lene, she doesn't need her signature. She can use static miss completely fine. Luke uses a attack buffs. Mornai, she doesn't give a shit about her signature. And then he's like one of the few characters with like a good standard option, right? Like among the new standard weapons, this gauntlet fits him perfectly because he's a basic attack damage dealer. And he can inflict his own Toon Strain that's in his kit. So he can inflict his own Toon Strain, which activates this, so he takes full advantage of it. So when it comes to weapons, his team is one of the most usable without sig weapons. But he really wants a sub DPS with Toon Break boost. His sig is like 10% better than standard. Oh, really? Yeah, I imagined. That's good. That's good. Low key, I think that's better. Like, even if he has this reliance on like the entire Toon Break thing, the fact that he has so many weapon alternatives on his best in slot team, low key, I think it's fair. Now that jump from San Hua is insanity. Okay, it's the largest jump in the entire game, but there's something good to look at. That's what really matters here. I saw two versions of his weapon. One where the second half is damage deepen and one where it's damage increase. It's damage amp. I was checking the Fractured Shores Discord, I believe. It's damage amp. If it is amp, then it's a lot better than 10%. Then never mind. uh, leaked reruns. Anyone saw them? Yeah, the leaked reruns were Chisa Lupa on Ameth's banner, and then Kanta and someone else. But like, I don't believe it. Like Kanta and Chisa both ran just now in 2.8. That's only two patches ago from 3.1. I don't think they'd rerun that quick. It would make more sense to put a Chisa rerun in 3.2 before the Annie. And this would also benefit Kuro more because then she wouldn't be part of the anniversary reruns because they don't do it for characters that run one patch before. What about Lene and Shorekeeper? Didn't pull for Mornai too much. Fusion characters, it's getting annoying. If I remember correctly, it's like a noticeable damage loss, but it's like good. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure I saw them replace Mornai with SK. It was like 1.8 to 1.9 million DPR, which is like that's like Augusta. That's like current main DPS. That's above Fro. It's kind of that level if you use SK instead of Mornai. But if you use Mornai, then it becomes like 2.3 million. Mornai actually matters more than I expected she would in those Tomb Break teams. I mean, I should have expected it, but also LUUK's animations. I know it's early and they're not in the best quality, but holy shit, man, they put all the budget in. They put all the budget into Ameth, dude. It all went into Ameth. I still think Lene isn't best in slot for LUUK. She isn't. That's why I commented, like, someone asked me how strong was LUUK. I explained it, and then I said, but I don't think this is his ceiling. Because, one, Lene apparently doesn't max out the Tomb Break boost to take full advantage of his kit. So, keep in mind, LUUK is heavily reliant on Tomb Break boost from someone on the team for his kit to scale well, right? So one, Lene can't max it, and two, Lene's a res lib buffer. So if they made a basic attack version of Lene, that'd be another 25% basic attack damage amp for him, which would probably put him in like combined with an increase in Tomb Break boost and as well as basic attack damage amp, it would probably put him in like 2.5 to 2.6 million damage around there, if I had to guess. Oh yeah, Adrian. Yeah, that's awesome. Literally the second that update dropped, I went to do the corridor. I got a stamp from a gold thing instead of the guaranteed one, and I instantly got Gein's stamp, like instantly. It's pretty lucky because it was only a 20% chance the first time, but man, that feels so nice. 2.5 million per rotation. Does that mean T0? Well, to put it into perspective, the current strongest DPS with a normal rotation, same as LUUK is using for that damage, the strongest DPS currently is Cart, and she's at 2.1 million. So LUUK is the strongest DPS, but I don't even think that. Like, technically, Ameth should be stronger. She's the Senrez equivalent, and she has full synergy with Lene. So I'm talking about LUUK calcs here, and him power creeping the entire old roster. But in reality, Ameth should be even stronger than LUUK. So I'd say wait until beta and wait for more calcs, because there's a decent chance Ameth is actually the strongest. I have been well. Thank you. Hope you've been well as well, Suguru. Any info on Lucia? No. Surely his rotation is going to take 30 seconds? No. I asked the person who did the preliminary calcs, and they said it was, if anything, a very short and easy rotation that doesn't maximize it. Like, I didn't even have to ask that. They just said it themselves in the theory crafting chat. Someone asked, yo, is this like a sweaty rotation? He was like, no, this is actually like easier than normal, in all honesty. So, they won't allow a man to be that strong? They 100% could, so long as the woman is stronger. That's all they really care about. Especially Senrei's equivalent. They don't care if a dude is strong, especially since he's the first main DPS since what, Zhang Liao. Like, you can use Brant as a sub DPS, or sorry, main DPS, but he wasn't meant for that. So, this is like the first mainly focused one since Zhang Li. How Silver Palace? Exceptional. I'm so mad it's a closed beta test and that it won't officially release for a long ass time because I just want to play it all the time. It's easily my favorite gacha I've ever played. I get the same feeling from Silver Palace that I did when I first started playing Wuwa. It's like I was skeptical about it, didn't have the highest of expectations. Then I went into it and I absolutely fell in love with it. I hate that I have to wait so long. Ameth calcs out yet? No, too early. Would you be trying Enfield? Nah, I don't think so. Giyuan has better animations than LUUK? Yeah. I'd say wait a little longer for higher quality animations and like for everything to be fleshed out. But I think from what I've seen, most people, including me, agree his animations are pretty undercooked right now. Like, low key, if it weren't for his damage being so much better, like I just want a Brant, man. I want them to make Brant too, but as a main DPS like LUUK, and I'd pull Brant easily over LUUK. Is Ameth without Lene cooked? If I remember correctly, she still has her two teams. So you can run like her negative status team, or you can run her Tomb Break team. But for the Tomb Break team specifically, I think all other alternatives for Ameth will be underwhelming. Similar to how LUUK has it baked into his kit that he like really wants a sub DPS for Tomb Break boost to like so his own kit can scale better. Ameth isn't as bad as LUUK, but she also has something similar in her kit where it's like if every single different resonator on the team either responds or inflicts tune rupture, then she will receive a massive buff of like defense ignore and damage increase. Even just ignoring the fact that in the first place Lene should be best in slot no matter what because of the buffs and stuff. There's also that in her kit. And for the negative status team, it's everybody on the team, different resonator, every single last one needs to inflict a negative status on enemies, and then it'll activate a different buff, I believe, for the negative status team. So those are the requirements for Ameth's Tomb Break team and status team. about Lene, Ameth, SK? Is it good enough? If you use SK, you can't activate that part of Ameth's kit because you need every single character on your team to either respond or inflict rupture for the Tomb Break team. Or on the negative status team, they all need to inflict a negative status themselves. So it's likely that replacing Mornai with SK in the Tomb Break team would lead to a significant damage loss for Ameth. It could probably still clear, you know? Like if that's your standard, yeah, like even LUUK, where like getting what's it called? Even LUUK where using Lene over Sanhua is like a fucking 60+% damage increase for him. Like he'd still be able to clear at least the current endgame because he's like Jin Shi tier. Like that's enough. But it's gonna be a drop off. Would Ameth, Lene, Chisa be okay? Well, you could use it, but you'll encounter the same problem, right? Like you can't combine the two and use like multiple tune rupture and then also have negative stat. Like you have to choose one or the other. Either her negative status mode, which activates when three resonators on the team inflict negative status, or her tune break mode, where everybody either responds or inflicts tune rupture. If you can't accomplish those, her kit will be a little bit half baked in terms of buffing, and she'll be significantly weaker. So unfortunately, Chisa is like really just for her negative status version and not for her tune break version. And the same goes for Mornai. Like if you're trying to run negative status, uh, what's it called, Ameth, you wouldn't use Mornai on that. So Lupa also sucks for Ameth. Maybe. Lupa's one saving grace is always that her buffing is so strong, but I think she might not be as cooked, but she's still for sure gonna be worse. That's all I can say currently. There's no calcs. We don't fully understand the kits yet, so who knows? I could be wrong, right? But from what I'm seeing, Kuro is even LUUK, despite not necessarily being like a negative status character, functions similarly to a negative status one, right? He's reliant on Tune Break Boost for massively amping his kit. Ameth is reliant on either everybody on the team inflicting negative status or Tune Rupture for her kit to scale well. I don't see Lupa competing. Would work for clearing endgame for now, though. That's for sure. Chisa Chacona Ameth? Chisa Chacona Ameth. Um, I mean, it would work, but then at the same time, Chacona isn't giving any useful buffs to Ameth. So you end up in the same problem, right? Like one character can't activate the inherent kit buffs in the character, but they have buffs themselves that can be good. And then Chacona doesn't buff Ameth at all, but then enables the inherent kit buff. You'd probably just end up in the same situation. Ameth cart Arrow Rover works? Well, no, because Arrow Rover doesn't inflict negative status. He can only he can only turn negative status into something else. So Arrow Rover also wouldn't work. What's Ameth's negative status team? It's not complete yet. Like her Toon Break team should be complete with obviously Lene Mornai, but her negative status team right now is missing a sub DPS. There was already an Echo leaked from the 3.1 preload of an Echo for like a fusion burst sub DPS support, like Chacona Phoebe, that stuff. So it should probably release like one or two patches after Ameth's release is when she gets her negative status teammate. Just run Booling instead of Arrow Rover. Will Ameth Lupa Mornai work like competent for 6k plus in Double Pawns Matrix? I can't speak on that, man. I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so. It just really depends how badly she wants Linnea's Toon Rupture and like her buffs and stuff. It really depends. 6k plus though? I mean that depends on the player's skill level too. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're an average player, that could maybe hurt a little. I'll say yes. I'll go out and say yes. Keep in mind, this is a complete fucking guess, but I'll say yes. She can probably get 5 to 6k in Double Pawns Matrix because I've seen even like fucking Camellias and Jinchis hit that. So, like, there's no way, man. There's no way she can't. How good are AMS sequences? That's the one thing I didn't read because I'm broke. I couldn't even think of sequences. If you're talking like straight percentage jumps, that especially I do not know. That's just not calc yet. It's too early. We legit just got like this beta information and kit information like an hour or two ago. So it just doesn't exist the info yet. My Ling Yang Sanhua SK got 5k. Anything can get 5k, yeah. Is Ameth as restricted as Zanny where she needs fusion burst to unlock more moves? No, well, depends. Maybe her negative status one. No, for unlocking new moves, I don't think so. It's just that she does less damage if you don't meet the requirements for either her Toon Break team or negative status team. I think that's it. You just do significantly less damage. There's no like move locking, I think. The one that is more similar to Zanny in this case scenario, not for moves, but just because of like how insane the drop off is without best in slot, is LUUK. Like Ameth isn't confirmed yet. People are still like working shit out, so I can't like say yeah she's the same. But there's already been like very early calcs for LUUK, and that shit is chopped, dude. Like it is so chopped if you don't have Linne or whatever his best in slot sub DPS will be. Free to play alternatives just aren't even an option for his current V1. Do you think LUUK will get nerfed? No, I don't think he'll get nerfed. There's no reason to nerf him. It's a new version. So they're raising the power ceiling. It's just the same thing Lada did. It's the exact same thing. Like people thought no one would ever become stronger than Jin Chi, and then we got someone stronger than Jin Chi being Lada, and then what is it like 3 patches later, we got Zanny who was stronger than Lada, and then 1 patch later we got Cart who is stronger than Zanny unless you do the 3 Nightfall or 4 Nightfall rotation. Like this is pretty consistent. Isn't Sentinel supposed to always be power ceiling? Yeah, what do you think Ameth's for? We're talking about LUUK being this strong. It doesn't mean Ameth won't be as strong, if not stronger. In fact, that's much more likely. Ameth is the Senrez equivalent for Lahai Roy. She has a 6-star tacit mark. The only other characters with a 6-star tacit mark are Canarella. Like, it's only Senrez's. Canarella, Jinshi and Cart. How good is he Augusto level? No, he's better than everyone. In his premium team with Lene, he's the strongest DPS in the game right now. Fraudorella is a Senrez? Yeah. She was originally chosen to be Senrez, but she didn't take it. So Cart ended up being Senrez. That's how it went. What the heck? Lore skipper! Lore skipper! Throw rocks and stones at them. Yes, I am a proud lore skipper. Hey, I'll say what I said earlier. Luke's situation isn't all, doom and gloom. There is some sunshine and rainbows, which is that everybody on his team doesn't care about their weapons that much, right? Like that is the one good thing. Like Lene, she doesn't need her sig at all. You can just use static mist for the attack buff. Mornai, it's already been well known she doesn't really need her sig. And then Luke is like the only character in the entirety of the game where like the new standard weapon is perfect for him. Okay? It's absolutely perfect. Fully synergistic. Crit rate, attack percent buff. He inflicts Toon Strain himself, which means he gets this basic attack damage bonus. Like, it's solid, okay? It's solid. They're saying that substats locking is coming. Your wish came true. Mmm. I like what I hear. Now all we need are more alternative weapon options. And what was it I wanted? A free limited 5-star by the collab? Hail Kuro Games. Substat locking, you can lock a bad sub. Wait. Actually, how does that work? What? Substat locking. I just got tripped up. That works in HSR, but how does that work in WUWA? Because you don't even see the substats until you roll. Is it just like you're able to choose I don't want defense percent, I don't want this, and then you roll? Because if that's the case, that's trash. Like that's still garbage. If you can only block like one RNG stat from rolling or two RNG, like there's still 10 other RNG stats. Oh my god, I'm gonna get scammed again, dude. Oh, my hopes and dreams are gonna get crushed. Yeah, I'm just gonna hope it's like a translation issue or something. Because with the way WUWA's ecosystem works, that would be like just as useless as the main stat selector. Yeah, exactly, Bronte. Like it don't really change much. It really doesn't change much. You can lock out up to 4 stats, it says. So if you lock up to 4 stats, mm, I mean, that's not bad. Like there's 5 stats on an echo. So there's a really like high chance you end up getting double crit if you can lock up to 4. That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad. Yeah, but substat selector is just so much up superior, Bronte. It's not even close. Like I've used 40 main stat selectors on Nightmare Hecate, and I didn't get what I wanted. I only got what I wanted when I like manually farmed when I ran out of them. But think about it. Just one substat selector, you get the right main stat, and you're done. Like oh my god. Oh, that'd be so good. It costs 5 modifiers to lock 4 stats. That doesn't sound. Mm, that sounds expensive. I know for sure they're gonna make it rarer than a main stat selector because it's more valuable. And if that's the case, then that might be cooked. It depends on how much they give. I have Lene, but I'm skipping Mornai. Is my LUUK cooked? Nah, Lene's the one you like need the most in my opinion easily for LUUK. You can run SK and achieve like normal 2.x main DPS performance. Like that's fine. It's just you replace SK with Mornai and he's like the strongest. Well, maybe not stronger than Ameth. I don't think he's going to be stronger than Ameth. There's no reason for him to be. Ameth should 100% be stronger right now. It's just that there's no calcs for it yet. Is Mornai the new Chisa? Mornai and Toon break teams. So what Kuro did is they put it into certain like LUUK kit and Ameth kit, certain things that amp their entire kit's damage if they meet certain requirements. So for LUUK, it's having a teammate with a massive amount of Toon Break boost, which Lene covers, but also because of Mornai's, weakness break efficiency increase, her ability to respond. I believe she also like increases damage a little bit here and there. LUUK ends up like wanting Mornai more. Like Mornai is actually a decent buff to that team. And then it's the same, I believe, for the Toon Break part of Ameth's team. Because Ameth's team wants everybody on her team, right? Like all 3 characters on her team need to inflict or apply rupture. Or sorry, um, apply rupture or respond to rupture. And Mornai is the only third slot that can do that right now. So is Sanhua usable with LUUK? It's bad, Sark. It's bad, okay? It's like usable if your standard is just being able to barely clear endgame. But for reference, he does like 2.3 million in a rotation with Lene. And then if you replace Lene with Sanhua, it goes down to 1.3, 1.4 around there, which is Jinchi level. So it's the biggest drop off I think in the history of the game without best in slot. And keep in mind, it gets even crazier because this might not even be his actual best in slot sub DPS. Lene is a res lib buffer, and she doesn't max out the Toon Break Boost part of his kit. So if he gets his actual own sub DPS, it is completely possible that getting his sub DPS over using Sanhua is dead ass a 2x increase. Like, dude, double 1.3 mil to like 2.5, 2.6 million. Insanity. Oh, and if you guys are wondering, basically the Toon Break boost thing in his kit when completely maxed out basically makes all his damage do a little more than double. He does more than double the damage if you max out the Toon Break boost thing in his kit. That's why it matters so much. It scales insanely high. Gabby, so does Lene Mornai give the same amount of tune break boost? Why is Lene so much more impactful? Do they give the same amount? I mean, in the first place, it's also likely because like Lene's buffs are just way stronger. Like if we look at it technically, SK is a stronger buffer than Mornai, right? Like technically. But Lene is a way stronger buffer than Sanhua. But I don't think I think Lene has more tune break boost, no? Let me see. Characters. Where's Morny? Morny. There's Morny. Morny. Okay, can I just search this up? Hakushin is like such a yab fest. Wait, no. She doesn't give Tomb Break boost. Only Lene does. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm not tripping. Only Lene gives Tomb Break boost. I was like, did I miss something in Mornai's kit of like Tomb Break boost? Nah, it's just Lene. Where do you get your calcs from? It was in the Fractured Shores Theory crafting chat. Riley very quickly just made an early calc. It's obviously not fully reliable, but it's kind of basic rotation. Like he said, it was literally the easiest rotation, one of the easiest ones. So, if anything, even then he could still be lowballing it. Gotta wait till if you care about like the more reliable and notable names like fucking Chem and the other ones, you have to wait longer. Because Chem is calcing Ameth currently. He doesn't want to do LUUK right now. He put up a poll and people voted for Ameth. Do you think Chem is more reliable? Chem is incredibly reliable. He's like as reliable as you can get. Like the guy has been doing this shit for like over a year. And he puts an insane amount of work into it. But you should also still take early calcs with a grain of salt. Like they sometimes can miss, small things. Completely misinterpreting his kit. Unfortunately, I don't think they're misinterpreting his kit. Like that's one of the most obvious parts of it is that he just massively scales off of the Tomb Break boost. Who are you pulling? This is my QU1 account, so Ameth, because I have Lene. I'll probably end up getting Mornai on the rerun. I have Lene right now. I'll use Static Mist, get Ameth. I should be guaranteed because I have like this second half plus 3.1. Hopefully try to get her weapon. I mean, that won't be easy, but, you know, go for her weapon as well because it's so fucking broken. And then Mornai on a rerun. Mornai weapon. Does Amy really need Mornai? Is just Lene enough? I don't know, guys. I don't know. But she's going to want Mornai more than anyone else in her Tomb Break team. Once again, both of these characters have parts of their kit where they have to meet certain teammate requirements to receive a noticeable buff to their damage. For Ameth's Tomb Break team, she wants every resonator on her team to either respond or apply rupture. And there's no other alternative option to Mornai for the Tomb Break team. for someone to do that. So, no, Chisa goes on the negative status team for Ameth. Ameth has two teams. She has a negative status one and she has a Toon Break one. Kuro thought to themselves and they're like, right. Is one team of limited characters really enough for our most shield units? And then they came up with the brilliant idea where instead of one specific best in slot team, make a character have dual roles and have two best in slot teams. Think about that. Think about that. Now that's a lot more money. That is a lot more money raking in. Big brain move, big brain move. I think the best comparison I could draw here is imagine if Cassie was HP scaling, but then she had a mode where she was also attack scaling. And you could run her with like fucking Sunday, Ting Yun, Robin. Loki, that sounds kind of cursed in my head. Like it's hard for me to even imagine putting Cassie with those characters. Which one will be stronger in your opinion? Probably the negative status team because they're more niche. Like if you look at Linnea Mornai pull value, they are just because of their general value, they are so much higher than like some niche sub DPS. So my assumption is the negative status team for Ameth would be stronger than her Tomb Break team. That would be better, no? Well, not really. Because it's not a direct comparison. Instead of like using Sunday and Robin for Cassie, if we were to translate it to what Wu is currently doing, it's like not only is it dual role, but specifically reliant on the newest units for that role. So they'd make a best in slot sub DPS and support and sustain for Castrus's attack mode that are completely new and way better than other alternatives. And then they do the exact same thing for her HP scaling team, so it doesn't really fix anything. Why is LUUK chopped? He's chopped without Linne or whatever best in slot sub DPS he'll get in the future. Any alternatives to Linne are complete dog shit for him currently. He fucking blows without them. I actually need a farm for Linne, no? I kind of forgot about that because I got her suddenly. Yeah. Okay. Please stop doing dailies. Continue your walking stream. Chill, chill, chill. I just realized bro got a new shiny toy to walk around with. Yeah, it's actually huge. Wait, why do I have Arena on this team? What the fuck? Should be my S1 SK for my skill issue. Oh, 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 oh. Guys. Guys. Oh my goodness. Wait, how do you play Linne? I actually forgot to look at videos because I never thought I'd get her. Press space. Yeah, I'm pressing space. Ooh, is that how you played Linné right there? Guys, look at your CC. He's just so crazy at this game. Watch this, watch this. Oh, boom. Ended off with style. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's QU on for you. Look at him. Ended LUUK, by the way. Ended LUUK. How many accounts do you have? 2. I don't play on the mole actively, though. A lot of people get that confused. There's no way I'd play all my gacha accounts actively. Wait, no res lib? No res lib? Wait, I'm low-key coming to, right? Genuinely, I'm coming to the realization that Linné is kind of shitting on my Mortefi in terms of buffing. Because I remember farming this boss with Mortefi, and he did not do that much damage. Genuinely. They need to release like an arrow version of Linné, right? An arrow version of Lupa, actually. Yep, that's what I need. Yeah, but Linné does 0 damage right now, so... I mean, what does Mortefi do? Wait. Bro, my Varina can't hang. There we go. Look at this. Oh! Bam! Jump! Jump! Slam down! Wait. I didn't slam down. There we go. Slam down. Res lib. Beautiful. Switch into the QU on. Bam. Get echo off. And then finish it off with the res lib again, QU1. Do it for the chat. Oh, is there a snowstorm outside? Jesus. It's crazy how after Christmas is over is when like the snow starts hitting. Is this the S6 card account? No, I wish. I wish I had S6 card and S6 QU1 on the same account. Beautiful. Yes, once again, QU1. Once again, just like we practiced. Look at him. Keep in mind, this guy is a sub DPS who does shit all for damage, and LUUK, the doctor, is the actual main DPS. Just want to remind you guys. Loken, what? Are you 12? What do you mean? You're not up to date? Is he really that bad? To put it in perspective, despite how much I'm slandering LUUK currently, like him having San Juan, the drop off from Linné, he probably does the same, if not more, damage with San Juan as QU1 does at S0. Like, it's QU1 fucking blows, dude. He is really bad. You gonna pull for Eat Meth on both your accounts? No. The other one at this point, it'd probably be better to go for LUUK. Or I just wait even longer. Because to be honest, even though I was actually like originally hyped for LUUK, those animations are not doing it for me, man. They are not. They are not doing it for me. Hmm. This one right here, I guarantee you, is gonna trigger a reaction. Fuck. I tried to look cool. Y'all think I can get more Nye in like one pull real quick? I'm so unlucky, man. I'm so god dang unlucky. Look at this game trying to rob me. I swear to God, they need to remove this like red notification mark. I don't give a shit about your shitty ass bundles. I really don't. I'm gonna get in the next two polls, guys. Next two polls. Two Lunite exposed. I mean, this account isn't free to play. I only got. I made this account. Like, I spent money on this account after I got S6Q Yuan. And then I started buying monthly pass and battle pass. I was like, don't mind if I do. Buying pulls with corals? Oh, you're one of those sequence people? Ugh. Ugh. Thoughts on S1 more than I was actually wondering why I seen so many videos and controversy on it. Because I covered it in the beta. Like, yeah, the S1 gives her the 40% damage bonus unrestricted and increases the time it's available from 8 seconds to 20 seconds. And like nobody gave a shit when I was covering it. But now like everybody cares. I'm not gonna make a video about it though. Don't tell me you pulled all 6 dupes for Kiyuan. You bet your ass I did. Not for Cart. For Kiyuan I did though. 8 seconds to 20 seconds? Yeah. The problem a lot of people are running into and why they're complaining about it is because, like, even if you get Linné to activate the damage buff, because keep in mind, in the first place, to activate it, you need Linné. You need someone to inflict a strain or rupture. But it's only 8 seconds. So if you do the tomb break on, like, Mornai or Linné's team, then your DPS is just not going to get that damage buff. So people are complaining about it because it's like you grab the S1 and now your DPS almost guaranteed 100% of the time has an extra 40% damage bonus. But like it's not that strong. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand where people are coming from, but it's like damage bonus. So if I had imagined, maybe makes the character like 10% stronger, maybe a little more. The reason it's so valuable is because it's on Mornai. It's not the buff itself. It's because it's on Mornai specifically. Because Mornai is like the closest generalist to SK. So you make her she goes from like, Verena side grade, worse than SK generally, to now just straight up being better in basically all case scenarios across any team. So that's why it has value. Oh, it's also because of her interruption resistance on S1? Hmm, maybe. Luke better than Zanny? Yeah. Even like the sweatiest rotation for Zanny is basically equivalent to Luke not even doing anything sweaty at all. Like an incredibly simple rotation. Ameth best in slot, two different teams. Tune break team is Lene Mornai. Negative status team is Future, Fusion Burst, Sub DPS, and Chisa. You should recall a night, maybe some other time. When you talk about you get called a Hoyo shill, what, like the sequence thing? Yeah, that's why I don't want to make a video on it. If I know, like, if I don't care enough about something I believe in, and I know it's just gonna cause a bunch of like negativity in my comments, I just won't make the video on it. I talked about this before, but I am a lot more lenient with Woowa when it comes to how much I hold back on my thoughts about it. HSR gets the thrashing, dude. HSR gets the fucking thrashing every time I talk about it. Poor HSR, man. It's been like, what was it, since the beginning of Pentaconi? Already making hit pieces on the game's HP inflation? uh, do you check AMS sequences yet? Nah, I'd rather wait until the calcs and numbers are out, and then after I read it, so it's like, does this work? Does it maybe work better in a certain scenario? You know, that stuff. Also, I'm not interested in getting her sequences, so at least not for now, because there's no way I can afford it. We only know how strong Luke is right now, I believe, not Ameth. I mean, I can check Kem's calc sheet and see if he's like openly updating it, but I doubt he would be. He doesn't like openly updating it anymore because then like Wua main subreddits will instantly take them and start talking about how overpowered or bricked a character is. Let's see. Yeah, he doesn't have it open. He said he's working on it, but if it's not on his website, he's keeping it on lockdown currently. I don't know what vid you're talking about, Solus, but like that's kind of normal. What do you expect, bro? Is not a Senres? I mean, I agree that Senreses get special treatment, but like, hey, I haven't seen his full animation sequence, so I am admittedly talking out of my ass here a bit. I think he dead ass has like very underwhelming animations. I genuinely, no joke, like Brant more from what I've seen currently. I do like Brant more. Just the way he fights aerially. and his like anchor and the reslib. Why HSR updates are slow? Oh, yeah. I've had some people too telling me to like quit HSR. I don't know how people don't get this. I'm never gonna quit HSR, at least not anytime soon. Like it doesn't matter how dry the game gets. It's never like been drier, you know. Like it's the same dryness. I don't care. I care about the characters and meta and all that shit. That's why I play HSR. It's hella convenient on mobile. I don't need to do shit. Is Mornai better or Chisa or Ameth? Yesterday I ordered 24 Burger King chicken nuggets. If you can decipher the riddle, I will answer that question again. Actually, should I just like make it a pin chat? Ameth has two different teams. Both Mornai and Chisa are best in slot for one of them. There we go. You ordered 24 because you a thick boy? Nah, they had a buy one get one free deal, so it was like insanely cheap. It was like $10. Which is stronger? Don't know. It's too early. Probably the negative status team, I'd guess. But the negative status team is way more niche, so. The other team you mentioned was with another fusion character, though. Is Lene plus Chisa not good? No. She has a requirement in her kit that massively amps her damage. And that requirement is either everybody on the team can respond or inflict rupture damage, or everybody on the team can inflict a negative status. If you don't meet that trio requirement for either or, she does noticeably less damage. But once again, just wait for calcs, of course. Just wait for calcs, wait for more, information, easier ways to understand the kit. I'll probably make a video on it at some point. What do I pull an A for then? Well, if you were to pull more an I, then that would be best in slot for her Toon Break team. And Lene is still the best sub DPS in the game, so it's like. I don't know, Eagles. I know that applies to LUUK, but I don't know if that applies to Ameth. Because I think LUUK is way more reliant on his requirement, at least from what I'm able to grasp. The Toon Break boost is like basically a must. For Ameth, even though the requirement is significant, it's not like game changing, I think. But I could also be wrong. Well, yeah, for the Toon Break team specifically, this is the first case in WUWA history where it's been back to back to back best in slot. If you run her Toon Break team, it is the first case, which is fucking pure insanity. HSR stepped up their game of being predatory, by adding 2 teammate best in slots on the same patch for the first time in a fucking millennia. And then Wua said, "You know what? We can do better than that, right? We can do even more predatory than you. Let's go 3 best in slots back to back. How about that, Hoyo? Huh? How about that one?" That's literally what's going on right now. Solon and fucking Dawe are just laughing their asses off in their offices. Like, dude, this shit is insane, man. Mm. ZZZ is gonna do 3 best in slots back to back with Angels of Delusion. Well, there you go, guys. They're just one upping each other. uh, I mean, it is what it is, dude. It is what it is. Idols aren't best in slot for each other? Oh. Also, Ameth is probably more reliant on her Sig than LUUK is. Because LUUK has a real alternative. Ameth doesn't. Her Sig is also probably stronger. So even outside of like the triple best in slot thing, her Sig is probably going to be a must pull. Actually, they should have her Sig on Haku now. For confirmation that of the res shred. Let me check. Hakushin. Weapons. Wait, home. Yeah, they have her sword here. They have her sword. Wait, but there's no info. Fuck. It just shows the crit damage. It doesn't show the passive. Wait, does it have the same name? That's enough. That's enough. Does it have the same name? That's all that matters. Oh, that's not there either? Oh my god. I think the old leaked weapon for Ameth is accurate though. Because it has the same substat of crit damage. So, the weapon, what was it? It was 12% damage bonus, 32% defense ignore, and 16% fusion res shred. Oh my goodness, it's actually real, dude. It's actually real. 16% res shred on a weapon. Change to Chinese on Hakushin? How do I do that? Oh, I see it's down here. Yup. Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me know that. Yeah. The weapon is live. Yep. That's what it is. Okay. So it was accurate. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. It's just the English version of Hakushin that isn't updated. That's gotta be worse than Lova. I wouldn't say it's worse than Lova. Depends. It depends. The reason why Lova's sig jump is so big to like standard and 4-star is because the standard rectifiers are like shit. Like they're pretty fucking underwhelming. But at the minimum, sword users in this game have EOG. But I will say it should be at the minimum close. It should be close to it should be close to it. To Prolova's weapon. And then in situations where you're going against enemies that are like fusion resistant, her weapon would easily run away with it. Because Res Shred becomes stronger going against enemies with resistance. So technically her Sig still has more value overall. Just because of the fact that one of the buffs is Res Shred. Probably 30-ish? Yeah. I'm going to go 35-ish actually. 35-ish to 40. That's my guess. Because here's the thing. The Res Shred alone is a near 20% overall damage increase. But the reason I'm putting stocks into it is because I believe in her inherent kit, she can give herself more defense ignore. And in her negative status team with Chisa specifically, the defense ignore is like highly stacked. And the more defense ignore you get, the stronger it is. So I could see 100% that weapon hitting 40%. Because a lot of these other characters, like even if they have defense ignore on their weapons, they don't really have a sub DPS or anything in their kit that increases it further. So it's like, eh. But in Ameth's case, she actually has multiple ways of getting more. That shred has a limit? No, I know it has a limit. But, like, Ameth's not going to hit that limit, but she's going to get high. Unless you mean, like, the limit is low? Like, 40% maxed out? If that's so, then maybe. I like LUUK, but his animations are mid. Yeah, I don't like his animations that much. I still think AMS. Like, here's the problem too. It's like recency bias. You know what I'm saying? It's like going from seeing Anoxa animations, and Anoxa animations were next to Cassie, and everybody just clowned on Anoxa's animations for so long. It's kind of the same scenario. The closer you get to the limit, the better. Yeah, exactly. Like when you're starting out with defense ignore, it isn't really that strong. But the more you stack, it becomes exponentially stronger. 40 maxed out won't work because her S3 gives 20% defense ignore. Oh, okay, yeah. I'd assume it goes up to 100% like other games then too. 100% cap on defense ignore. Wee. Isn't 100% defense shred just 120% damage final increase? Well, yeah, but that's incredibly high. Like, if you were to compare it to another very valuable buff in this game being Amp, 100% Amp, assuming there's no other sources of it, would only make you 100% stronger. So even though Amp is a stronger buff at the beginning compared to Defense Ignore can actually become one of the strongest Amps in the game if you just give it a little more time. If anything, like, that's competitive with Res Shred actually in terms of buffing. Once you get later there, right? At the beginning, not really, but once you get later into Defense Ignore, it becomes just so insanely strong it competes with things like Res Shred. Yeah, there should be another Senres in this version if Step Leak's roadmap is accurate, which it hasn't really been wrong yet. Even if it hasn't been fully accurate, there's always been something correct. Elements have been completely correct so far, so except for Rover. But Rover probably just got last minute changed. They were probably thinking, do we do Fusion Rover? and do the same thing we did with Zanny and Cart for Ameth? Or do we finally, do we maybe shill it towards the Annie character, Rover? I think Rover is going to be for the Annie character. That's why he got changed to Glacio. I'm pretty sure Yashin Guang's banner is still going. Spreading buffs out is still better. Yeah, but you don't get the option to spread buffs out. Add like, and it's not like at the beginning, sure, but like because of the way Ameth's kit works, it's better to get defense ignore than almost anything else. Because she can actually get like multiple things of defense ignore. Like if you want the best example of this ad, despite the fact that Phenon's E4 and HSR massively increases his counter damage, and his E6 gives him 36% true damage on his meteors, his Eidolons get outpaced by his light cone because not only of the base speed, but because of the defense ignore. Because Phenon already has a solid amount at base. So what because he's already like at a decent amount of defense ignore, the more you add, he just becomes a fucking beast when you get close to 100%. So the same thing would apply here, right? Like if you look at let's say a Zanny, I think Zanny's weapon also has defense ignore, but she doesn't have defense ignore anywhere else. So it's like who gives a shit? I don't want to go for defense ignore on you. It's too expensive. But if you're Ameth and you have like multiple avenues of defense ignore, it's like, maybe if I slot in a Chisa, play the negative status team, and get as close to 100% as possible, I'm going to fucking start duking these mobs, right? So that's kind of how it goes. I'm considering S5ing him. I think it's more worth than E6 because, like, even outside of the pure damage output and, like, it being slightly better, and I know the E6 has the QOL. A lot of people will argue that. I don't disagree. But you can put that light cone on other destruction units, which you can't do with Eidolons. That's the one reason I think the S5 is just higher value. Ameth sounds like she's going to more than Gap. Yeah, I just don't want to speak on it. Like, if I made a community post right now about Ameth and, like, trying to objectively talk about how strong she may be, I'd instantly be called a Doom poster. So that's why, for that community post, I just brought up LUUK because he's only a little stronger. But I'm, like, so confident Ameth will be significantly stronger than LUUK. You have to keep in mind, LUUK is, like, not special at all. And he's missing his best in slot sub DPS. Meanwhile, Ameth is getting all this special treatment because she's a Senres equivalent. The last Senres equivalent being Cart lasted as the strongest damage dealer in the game for a long ass time. Right? For a pretty long time, like 9 months. LUUK better be free. Yeah, sure, man, sure. Prolova is better than Cart, not in terms of damage, no. Prolova is better in terms of overall value. But if you were to just look at pure DPS without doing quick swap, it's 100% cart currently. She does the most damage. And then even if you include quick swap, like I also still think cart wins because of Chisa. And Chisa benefits from quick swap. It's like competitive with Zanny quick swap. So whichever way you slice it, cart is just the strongest pure DPS in this game. Also has the strongest sequence investment in this game to this day. I mean, I do think LUUK will get his own sub DPS though. I don't think he's supposed to have Linnae. So the only similarity between Ameth and LUUK best in slot in the future should be Mornai. And even then, Ameth has the option of going negative status. So I imagine it's like, if you want LUUK and Ameth, you're incentivized to obviously pull LUUK's team and then run the negative status version of Ameth with Chisa. Like, that's kind of the road you gotta go down. It's expensive, but that's the price. LUUK can get Sanhua. You do not know. You do not want to know how much worse Sanhua is. You really don't. It'll be fine for clearing endgame currently, but the second the HP inflation hits to match these newer DPSs, it is not gonna look pretty. But Solo Donjin, Solo Donjin doesn't even exist anymore. That shit's a myth at this point. Nobody uses Solo Donjin in Double Pawn's Matrix. Nobody can use her to actually solo the newest TOA floors. Like, nobody can use her to solo Wiwa. Like, that shit's been gone, bro. Goodbye. Gone and dusted. It was good while it lasted, yeah. I'm just glad I don't have to hear it anymore. Oh my god. It was absolutely cancerous warning people of like the future endgame and power creep of this game during the Annie. And people are like, "Oh, but solo dungeon." I don't have to hear that shit no more. Thank fuck, man. Oh, finally. 2.3 and lower characters cannot clear anymore. Okay, let's show. Let's show. Let's not go that far. You can wheelchair a lot of 1.x characters, and if you put in the time to learn them, you can just make them clear anyways. But do they clear worse? Oh, 100%. That's not even really a question. They 100% clear worse. Have a good stream. Gonna skedaddle. Thank you for stopping by, Kat. Hope you have a great day. Is Billing good? Billing didn't really change anything, no. Billing's like alternative to SK if you don't have SK available for Fro, and you can abuse her in Weewa with Plunderer. That's it. She isn't really like best in slot for anything. Yeah, Zanny can 100% clear unless you. It depends how bricked your investment is. Like if you're an average Zanny player, right? You haven't put in the time to learn how to play her, and then on top of that you have like maybe like no Phoebe, no signature weapon. I could 100% see that sentiment. Like that sounds incredibly bricked. Well, yeah, I agree, Dark. I mean, I'll read Ameth sequences because people keep talking about them real quick. Characters, Amy. Where's her sequences? There it is. Sequence 1. Crit damage is increased by 20%. When Ameth isn't in combat state for over 4 seconds, she enters instant response. Crit damage of heavy attack Ameth and heavy attack mech is increased by 300%, and she gains suck for nearby targets during charging. So this is like a Weewa sequence. It sucks in enemies, which is nice for Weewa. When Ameth defeats a target, she enters Sealed Trail, Toon Rupture, or Sealed Trail Fusion Burst for 10 seconds. Oh, it just depends on whichever team you're running her in. Defeating the target keeps the maximum stacks or inflicted on it. The next attack inflicts the corresponding number of stacks of Fusion Burst or Rupture up to the max stacks. Triggering this effect removes Toon Rupture and Fusion Burst. Ameth can't enter either of them in 1 second. Holy shit, this translation blows. So, when Ameth defeats a target, she enters. Defeating the target keeps the maximum stack. No, this doesn't get rid of her requirement, I think. It's saying it keeps the stacks. So if you don't even have the stacks to put in there in the first place, no. Her requirement in her kit, if I remember correctly, is every person on her team individually needs to inflict Toon Rupture or respond to it, or the Fusion Burst team needs everybody on the team to inflict negative status. So even though Ameth can now like obviously keep the stacks on enemies that she defeats, it doesn't change that requirement because she's still the only one actually doing it. It has to be everyone on the team. Oh, it's S3? Okay, I'll go to S3 then. S2, damage multiplier of resonant skill is increased by 100% when 2 rupture damage is triggered by resonance skill. Damage multiplier of the damage it takes is increased by 20% for a second, stacking up to 5 times. So her S2 can make the Toon Rupture damage do up to double. Okay. And when defeating a target, immediately triggers Fusion Burst. Okay, yeah, that's normal, okay. And then sequence 3, Resonance Libs multiplier gets increased by 100%. During the charge of Heavy Attack Ameth or Heavy Attack Mech, Ameth inflicts Toon Rupture or Fusion Burst based on her Resonance mode. Inherent skill Between the Stars is replaced with the following. In Resonance mode Toon Rupture, when resonators in the nearby team inflict Toon Rupture or deal Toon Rupture damage, Ameth's crit damage is increased by 60%, and Resonance Lib ignores 20% of defense. In Resonance mode Fusion Burst, when resonators in the nearby team inflict NS, Ameth's crit damage is... oh wait, it's the same buff. It's the same buff. No, this doesn't change anything. Why would you think this changes anything? Let me reread it just in case. When resonators in the nearby team inflict tune rupture or do tune rupture damage, Ameth crit damage and oh, because it's is it replacing her trace that requires it? Is that what you're saying? Or is this not just additional? Let me see. Between the stars. Okay, here it is. Oh, you're right. You're right. So it replaces the part of her kit that is reliant on every resonator on the team to do that. And her S3 replaces it with something she can activate on her own. So long as you have anyone on the team who can do tune rupture. Okay, I see it, I see it. Yeah, that should get rid of the requirement. Yeah. Her S3, isn't this basically like a cart S3? This is kind of the same as cart S3. The thing is, it doesn't get rid of Lene value though. Like that's kind of the other thing. This is if this is the same as cart, then it's not going to get rid of the value. It's just going to make her easier to run if you don't have the best in slot sub DPS. But this sounds exactly like it accomplishes the same thing as Cart's S3, I think. Yeah, okay. Yeah. They basically translated Cart's S3 into Ameth's kit with the Tomb Break and Fusion Burst stuff. Okay, okay. It does get rid of her value though? No, it doesn't. Because here's the thing, right? Here's the beautiful thing. Her Tomb Break form prioritizes Tune Rupture damage. And she has a scaling in her kit where the Tune Rupture damage does more damage. You know what boosts Rupture and Break damage? Tune Break boost. Mmm. And she's also just in general the strongest buffer for her in the entire game currently. Also, that S3. Wait, no. Wait. She still needs someone on the team to inflict rupture. So you still. When resonators in the nearby team inflict tune rupture. I guess if it counts her own rupture, it's fine. If it counts her own rupture, it's fine. But even then, there's still the Lene buffs and Tomb Break boost. If it counts her own rupture, it's fine. But if it doesn't, you'd still need Lene. It just means you could get rid of Mornai. And you could replace Mornai with like SK, probably. Ameth weapon got changed? What? Already? The fuck? Is it on the Reddit? Now it's crit rate instead of crit damage? Oh, is that it? Oh, so it's not really any different. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. For a second, I was like, did they get rid of the res shred? That would have been quick. Some passive change also? Mm. I mean, it makes sense. Like, Lene doesn't give crit buffing. And if you're running Mornai, Mornai doesn't give crit buffing. It's better to have a crit rate substat than a crit damage one. Easier for people to build around. What's S4? What Ameth? I mean, is S4 ever even like good? Yeah, no, her S4 is fucking garbage. Uh, Resonators in the team gain 20% damage bonus for 30 seconds. Game changing. Fucking game changing. We Electricity went out. What I missed? Someone in the chat actually just died. They just flopped. GG's. We were giving them respects. Just pulled Linane. I have Chisa. I mean, I think you're fine, dude. you just you just need to either pull the Fusion Burst sub DPS for her. That'll probably release in like 3.2 or a little later. And then run the negative status team, or you pull more Nye at some point. And then you run the Toon Break team. You just do either or. AMS Echo Set gives 20% crit rate, right? Yeah, but a lot of people prefer to hit near 100%. And because Kuro is now kicking out SK, like here's the thing, right? When you look at the 2.x teams, like a majority of them had SK as best in slot or near best in slot. So it was like kind of normalized for crit damage substats to be fine on weapons. But now the game's trying to kick SK out. So if there's not going to be a crit rate support to compensate for it, then you'd rather make the weapon's crit rate related. That's probably why LUUK's weapon is also crit rate. Like his weapon is also crit rate over here. Same Toon Break best in slot team. Do I run Fusion Burst or Toon Break team with her? That's up to you, man. We aren't going to be able to tell how strong her negative status team will be until she gets the negative status support. And that's probably going to be at minimum, like, once her banner is gone, because she's the first phase. Do you think the collab characters are going to have much value? No, not at all. Unless they make them both supportive types? Nah. After I finish building, well, I'm in a pickle actually. Oh my fucking god, dude. If those leaked banners end up being true, I'm genuinely fucked. Like, why would you rerun Canarella in 2 patches? Like, there's just no way. But if it happens, I need to prioritize Canarella because I have Fro on this account. You guys remember that? I have Fro. Because I got her early from, what was it? The Game Awards polls? And I don't want to use QU1 with Fro because, like, he's S6. So, like, I get Kanta, so I can run my Fro with my SK. Then I have my own QU1 main DPS team. And then I have my Ameth team, which gets, like, my 3 teams down for clearing endgame. I'm going to run QU1 with just Mort Verena. They added False Sovereign and some 3.0 and 3.1 Overworld. No! Please tell me False Sovereign isn't who I think it is, dude. Okay, no. Yeah. Okay, thank God. Thank God. Wait, what's this guy's moveset again? Uh, was it annoying? I think I remember first trying that one. Didn't I first try that one? Uh, I think I'll be fine. Wait, what are the enemies though? Wait, I can just check on Hakush actually. I can check on Hakush. Let's see. You did say yeah. So they added 3.0 and 3.1 overworld enemies in TOA. Okay. Let me check Tower of Adversity. Oh, they did. So there is False Sovereign, Space Trek Explorer, Mining Reindeer, and a Frostbite Colloid. Okay. Let me go over here. Let's find them and see what their movesets are. Tacit Discord. Wait, no. I'd find this in Databank. There we go. Alright. So, Mining Reindeer. This one right here. This one's going to be in... Wait, no. This is Flora Reindeer. There's two different reindeers. Okay, my bad. I did not expect that. Caught me off guard. Mining Reindeer. I don't know if they have different movesets or not, but... Okay. Chat, we're about to see the moveset. The new TOA enemies. Alright, show me what you got. Show me what you got, reindeer. Yeah, you gonna attack? Pussy? Oh! Yo! Okay, so that's a hard stagger move. What's this? That's whatever. Oh. So the second attack launches you and staggers you. Okay. You got anything else to show? Wait, why are you running? Wait, why are you running? Okay, I think he's shown everything. I don't think the deer's that bad. If they add this to Weewa, it could suck, though. TOA, But if this guy gets added to Weewa with, like, a bunch of mobs that are similar to him, it would absolutely blow. That could suck. Alright, let me look at the other one. Right, let me see what the other one was. The other one was a Frostbite Colloid. It's a very unique name. It's this right here. This is just a one cost though. I don't think a one cost is gonna have much stagger ability. Nah, the boar isn't in TOA. I can smell it. I'm close. They fuse. Okay. So you can fuse. And the frequency of attacks is pretty high. This one would for sure be more annoying than the deer. But for some reason, he's fighting these mobs instead of me. Can I kill them? Oh, wait, he's an elite. Wait. Oh, I thought he was a one cost. So he does an entire, like, 3-4 piece combo. And he can drill you. Okay. This one's for sure way more annoying than that deer. He has, like, multiple move sets. Okay, okay. And then there's one other one. The other one is the Space Trek Explorer. I remember fighting this thing because it's part of a puzzle, I think. This is the last one. There's another one, I think. But it's not showing on Hakushin right now. There's another 3.x enemy. Databank. Space Trek Explorer. Yeah, it's this one right here. It's because it's a 3.1 enemy? Oh. Wait, is it above me? Or did I pass them? No, they're above me. Oh wait, no, it's right there. Yo, what the fuck? Why does this thing have an entire A? Bro. No, no, no. I don't believe that. No, no, no. That has to be like a special one. I'm going to check the other one. Oh, I am not believing that shit's in TOA, dude. They are. Oh my god. Wait. These things move sets is fucking insane, man. Yo. Full ass AoE spin. I mean, there's no stagger. There's no stagger on it, though. So that's fine. It's only that AoE spin thing that I thought was crazy, but it doesn't stagger you, which is nice. Ooh, a 3-piece combo? I think these would be a lot more annoying in Wiwa than TOA. Amy does less DPS than LUUK? Nah, there's no way. There is no way. How's that even possible? Are they making it so her general team is weaker than her NS one? I mean, I saw that coming, but I thought they'd make her general one still, like, strong. It's kind of weird. I mean, that's a good thing for people. Because it means LUUK is well scaled. Let me see. It seems like they're still trying to work things out. Yeah, but that doesn't even make sense, Uni. Because I don't think LUUK even has his best in slot sub DPS. And Amy's the Senres equivalent. So I feel like there's something amiss, or they just underscaled her in this version. Or they overscaled LUUK. Who knows? Maybe there was never meant to be power creep. Maybe they just overscaled LUUK. Luke with Lene or an I, which isn't even, it shouldn't be even be his best in slot sub DPS. That would be funny though. It would be funny if the Senrez got beat by Luke. It would be funnier than Ameth beating Luke. Oh, 100% I'm aware, Uni, but even then, like, I mean, maybe it's because this beta has been delayed like insane, man. Like, how long do they have? They have less than 3 weeks. Wow. They have less than 3 weeks for this beta to actually like get the character strong and where they want it. I think the beta delay might have caused some issues. Yeah, 2.5 weeks is all they have. Ameth's weapon got nerfed. Did it? The passive? Let me see. Jesus. Ameth weapon. Translate. 12% damage bonus, 32% defense ignore. Oh wait, my thing isn't updated. It still shows crit damage here. Oh, Hakushin isn't updated somewhere else. Buff Ameth, don't nerf Luke. I mean, I think if anything, Ameth is probably undercooked. It just doesn't make sense. Luke without his best in slot sub DPS versus the Senrez equivalent with her full best in slot tune break team, and she's somehow losing. That just doesn't make sense. The much more likely case scenario is Luke is fine where he is, but Ameth is undercooked. Ooh, a leak subreddit has it updated? Okay. Crit rates. Oh. It went from 16% res shred to 10%. Yeah, I guess it was too strong. But they didn't remove it, which is interesting. They didn't change the res shred, they just nerfed it. I mean, now, I mean, technically speaking, if her weapon was the same as it used to be, then it would be stronger than Luke, probably. Or near it. Yeah. So that's weird. They nerfed the weapon, and this is the reason she's weaker than Luke? Huh? Why would they nerf it then? Yeah, Uni. I mean, it's better for the people who want to use EOG and don't plan on going for the weapon. 6%? 6% kind of matters. When you're doing like 2 million damage, 6% is actually some. Like, it's a little over 100k more damage per rotation. A 6% buff from 2 million. Well, actually, because it's AMS personal, it's probably less than that. But still. Somewhere around there. Yeah, that is better, Uni. Hello, Muda. Luke saved the Wua Society. If you guys will remember, my original expectation for Amy and her best in slot team, don't cook me because there's still the rest of this version to make her stronger, was 2.5. I was putting my bets on 2.5 to 2.6 mil per rotation. Luke hits 2.3 almost with Lene Mornai. And I assume with his best in slot sub, he should hit 2.5 or 2.6. So that's where I'm putting Ameth still. Who is Chop now? Chill. Listen, guys. Hey, hey, hey. What about Luke with Sanhua, though? Mmm. That's cooked. That's cooked. Nope, I'm not changing. I made this title originally because of the Sanhua team, okay? I made it because of that Sanhua team. I did not make it because of his greedy and stupid premium team peak ceiling damage, okay? Luke Sanhua is 1.7. Are you sure? Is that like an updated calc? Because the last time I saw like 1.7, 1.8 was replacing Mornai with SK, not getting rid of Lene. Oh, there is an updated calc? Luke with Sanhua is better than Galbrena Premium? Okay, chill. I'm not believing that, no offense. Galbrena Premium does like 1.8 plus million. Amy Premium is less than Luke Premium, you fraud, classic HSR shill. Hey, you know, y'all can have this temporary dub in an early beta version that doesn't matter, but I will win in the end. By the end of this beta, Ameth will be stronger than Luke. She will hit that 2.5 to 2.6 million damage check I'm talking about. And Luke will be a little weaker. And I will win. That's how this is going to go, okay? I always win. I always win. I never lose. Yeah, exactly, Uni. They're giving me ammo. They're giving me a reason to make a video. Nah, Ameth will be weak. You sweet summer child. It's okay. We all cope at one point. Listen. Oh, wait. You guys can't see my pity history. But on this account, right, I lost my 50-50. It was unfortunate. But within only about 20 pulls later, I managed to get a fro, right? Wait. Oh, I got fro, lost 50-50 on who? Who did I even lose 50-50 to? Was it Chisa? I lost Ling Yang, and then I got Lene in 20 pulls. So I got Prolova in 20 pulls, and I got Lene in 20 pulls, okay? Don't fuck with me. I am him. Why isn't there a join button next to the subscription? I don't know. Isn't the join button for like people who sell channel memberships? I don't have that. I kind of forgot they existed. Amy being lower can work because people see waifu people pull. You're not wrong, but at the same time, I just don't think they do it. Like Ameth, no matter what, will be stronger than Luke. If it isn't this Toon Break team, it's going to be the negative status team. That's like the only, you know, way I could possibly see LUUK being stronger than Ameth in this beta is if they undercooked her Toon Break team on purpose, since it's not her niche best in slots, and then they're gonna make the negative status team for her exponentially stronger. But it's like, that would kind of suck. You think Qyuan's main DPS about to be Yang Yang SP? That would be the best case scenario. I've seen like some theory crafters saying like off the name of the Echo set for like arrow echo skill damage that it would be something related to Sigrika. But like I'm gonna be honest, okay? I'm gonna be honest, guys. Sigrika is the least interesting character to me of the entire drip. Like, it's not even close. Like, that would be the worst case scenario for me. I don't even know if I'd pull for her. Because I just don't really like Sigrika. Yang Yang SP, though, that would go hard. I would insta pull that for my Qyuan and just run that team. But Sigrika, not really, man. Not really. I will say, though, I am happy that, like, Echo skill damage isn't being left in the dust and, like, Qyuan value. Because, like, even though Qyuan has value for Prolova, let's be honest, you just don't need Qyuan. You can use SK as a third slot. You can use Roshia as a third slot. You can use Buling as a third slot. Because really, the only one you like want, you only want either or of Qyuan or Canarella, right? If you have one of those two, having both of them isn't really like incredibly valuable. So this gives Qyuan a little more value, which I like. Uwa leakers legit bums. Yeah, it's. Oh my god, I'm not gonna lie. When the beta first came out, and like 15 minutes, 20 minutes later, the first leak of LUUK was legit a picture with like 9 pixels. Dude, I started bursting out laughing. Oh my god. Like, it is so funny, man. It is hilarious. Sigrika looks like a 4-star. Yeah, I don't disagree. Like, it's actually insane. You'll look at HSR leakers, and they can predict shit that's like half a year later, if not longer, sometimes. And then you have Wuwa leakers, like, something can legit be, I don't know, like 3 or 4 weeks away, and they'll still be clueless. Like, it's insane the difference. I'm just leaker rotted, man. I'm leaker rotted. No full gameplay for LUUK. Also, he's missing his forte in scythe mode. Yeah. Hey, now they predicted Chisa would be in negative status support months before she released, remember? Uh, yeah. But they were also like completely clueless on her teams. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If I remember correctly, I was in Fractured Shores at the time, and the common consensus among the leakers was that Chisa was not for Cartethia and Zanny. Like they kept repeating this for like weeks on end until Chisa actually came out, and then we found out she's well for Cartethia and Zanny. They're like, oh, yeah, there's no way you'd put Chisa on that team, dude. It's like a huge downgrade. Like, nah, man. She ain't for Zanny. Well, I agree. but she can still be very competitive with for Zanny, unless you're like sweat with Spectral Rover. But outside of that, competitive. It's a downgrade, yeah, but it isn't the worst. It's not the worst. Plus, let's all be honest, right? Let's all be honest, Uni. One team has SK, another team has new Glacial Rover, right? Who's gonna save you in this scenario? Who's gonna save the Zanny mains? It's going to be Chisa, okay? It'll be Chisa. That alone gives her infinite value. Think about that. Oh my goodness. Chisa best in slot, guys. Chisa best in slot. If only Chisa had more vigor in new Endgame. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of surprised when I heard that. Like, I just assumed every single third slot would end up getting the extra vigor. But when I saw Chisa didn't, I was like, really? Like, really, man? Did you check Enfield live stream? I watched it from Sino's live stream. But I just don't think I'm going to play Enfield. I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I am, like, entranced by Silver Palace. Like, the second that game comes out, I get the feeling I'm just going to grind the fuck out of it. And I'll probably make a ton of content on it, too. Chisa fine as hell? Hell yeah. Comment anime girl trope goes hard. Who will be greedier, Silver Palace or Enfield? I don't know. From the current leaked Silver Palace banner system, it's near the same as HSR's. But what I've heard, which worries me, is that there's a possibility it has no pity carryover, similar to like Enfield. So if that's true, it would obviously be worse than Enfield's. But if it does have pity carryover or they adjust the system a little more, it could easily be better than Enfield's. The thing with Enfield is like you can't only look at the gacha system itself. You also need to look at the pull income, right? So I watched Rin's video on this because he played the beta, and on his video talking about Enfield, he mentioned the amount of pulls he got from, doing a very solid amount of completion. He believes the max amount of pulls he could have farmed within the first patch, or like that beta, if he maxed out everything, was 150 to 160. That's not good. He also said there wasn't many areas in the game where you could consistently farm the currency, and a lot of it came from permanent stuff. So, if that's true, the massive 120 guarantee in Enfield would really hurt. Like, it would hurt a lot more than it looks. Yeah, WUA gave like 200 plus. HSR gave 200 plus on their first patch. Like, that's common. 200 plus among a lot of these games with similar systems to like Silver Palace. 150 to 160 is low for a first patch. They buffed the income of Enfield a lot. I mean, I hope so, man. Otherwise, people there are going to be saving for a millennia. But outside of that, yeah. I also think banners are shorter in Enfield, at least at the beginning. I was checking the Reddit, and I saw that the banner length, I don't think it was 3 weeks. I think it was like 2.5. So the at least for the beginning, they're pumping out the banners faster, which means your pity carryover goes away faster too. uh, oh, it's 2 weeks. Oh, okay. FOMO maxing? Yeah. That's why I don't like it. Like, the FOMO is absolute insanity when there's no carryover. Especially with Enfield's system. Yeah, I believe so, Uni, yeah. Like, it only sucks if you look at it from a perspective of getting the specific character you want. But if you look at it as just like limited 5 stars in general, you can end up losing a 50-50 to another limited character. And then you put in 40 more pulls to go to the guaranteed, and then you get another limited character guaranteed, and it's the one you want. So it's better, but it depends on the person you are. Right? That's kind of how it goes. Razor said the pull income will be 130 and he thinks it's disgusting. 130? That's even lower. Jeez. Yeah, Silver Palace has massive optimization issues because it's on UE5. That, and I believe they don't have DLSS as an option in CBT1, which led to a lot more lag for me. Unlike Wuwa. Like, I think right now I'm on DLSS. Let me check. Like, Wuwa puts it automatically, I'm pretty sure. It's probably down here. Yeah, I have DLSS on. Let me turn this off and see how much lag it gets. Silver Palace is definitely still more laggy than this. 130 is bad for a first like launch patch. It's garbage. Like I let me go right now. I'll check Wua's bookkeeping. Wuthering Waves bookkeeping. So for Wua's first patch, they gave, oh my, 254 polls in Wua's first patch. 254. Let me look at HSR. Honkai Star Rail bookkeeping. HSR's first patch gave 213. And then last but not least, Zenless Zone Zero bookkeeping. Zenless first patch gave 250, just the same as Wuwa. For like a launch patch, that pull count is bad. Like that's really bad. Because launch patches almost always have way more pull income than any patch ever in the future. Unless Enfield doesn't do this, right? If they keep that pull count consistent somehow or close to it for every patch afterwards, it would be fine. But it's unlikely. If they were to follow the pattern of these other games, then like an average patch would give maybe like 50 to 60 pulls, which is a lot less compared to launch. That's like the thing, right? Oh, voice crack. That's the thing. You can't only look at systems. You got to look at the pull income as well. That's a very important aspect. They'll 100% buff the income. They already did, but the community will complain about it, so they'll buff it more. Yeah, it depends. Depends on how much devs listen. I mean, you're not, Claire. That's the thing. You're just not. Technically speaking, you probably wouldn't even get enough pulls in a patch to guarantee any character. Like, much less every single character. Bleach Soul Resonance, though. Oh, Bleach Soul Resonance glaze, man. Bleach Soul Resonance glaze. Now, I will say I'm a low spender. I spend about a little less than 20 USD every month on Soul Resonance, but it's enough for me to guarantee every character with their weapon, so I'll take it. Someone could guarantee probably every character without spending money. Not really sashimi. At least so far, it's just a very simple game. There isn't much, um, like fan service so far. Although Rangiku has been delayed, so like if they'd add fan service in the game, it would just be Rangiku. But Rangiku's release has been delayed, and as compensation, they're giving a free, maxed out, duped out Rangiku with max weapon stamp and maybe max core stamp. I think through an event. Maybe not the core stamp, but weapon stamp and dupes are maxed out for sure for free, which is nice. I needed that for my Gin because I got Kisuke on one team and I'm using Yachiru with my Ichigo. So, I mean, it's a 4-star. It's not a limited 5-star. But the 4-star has incredible value right now because the game just came out. There's no one to even compete. Everybody's fighting for Kisuke. Why isn't Soul Resonance on PC that or PS5? Yeah. They need to transition to consoles and PC at some point. It would be so much better. And then I'd be able to make content on it too. Rangiku's core stamp is already in the game. Yeah, I saw. And Wuwa, we got free Yao. Yeah, but that wasn't because of like that was just, you know, yo guys, I know we've put you guys through like 2 filler patches and we've barely added anything new. So come do this long ass tedious event, but you get a free limited 5-star. That's kind of how it went. We was never gonna even come close to EOSing probably. Game's too popular. Like even if this game isn't on the Hoyo level, they could become like I'd say twice as predatory as compared to now, and they'd still like do numbers on the charts. The game's just become popular enough for that. It just doesn't matter. They finally accomplished what they wanted to accomplish when they first released the game, which is like having a hardcore, dedicated fan base that will stick with you despite whatever bullshit you pull. That's what old gacha games aim to do. It's like reel in that dedicated player base, amass enough of them, and then you're just good. Doesn't matter what shit you pull. There's nothing wrong with playing these games though. Like I still play WoW, but like there's also nothing wrong with acknowledging the reality. It's just marketing tactics. No one on PlayStation got him for free? Oh really? That blows. Hoyo Slop versus Kuro Slop? True. I mean, I hope Hoyo. It seems like Hoyo's gonna make some games without gacha. That one, like, very realistic looking game, not Varaspura, but the teaser for what looked like a type of fantasy game with realistic graphics. I doubt they'll add gacha to that one. Wuwa wouldn't. Wuwa's not gonna lose most of its player base though. That's the thing. Like, it just doesn't matter. Like, you can make up these theoreticals of like, what if 50% of the game quit and stopped spending money on the game? But in the first place, a majority of that 50% would consist of free to plays or low spenders because whales are much more tied to sunk cost fallacy. So they'd keep playing and just not give a shit. Like you could see a 50% player base reduction and then the revenue decreases by like 15 to 20% only. Cuz the whales are hard carrying. I will say though, if there's any gotcha game I could see like updating their banner systems soon, it would be Wuwa. I feel like they should take a note from the book of ZZZ with these new rerun banners they've introduced and do the exact same thing. Make reran characters first banner or first rerun banner, whatever. Just make it guaranteed, dude. Please. Copy that off of ZZZ. Yeah, or for Annie. Like, that's what a lot of people wanted for the last Annie. They were fine with, like, all the banners, but they were hoping there might be a guarantee for the characters on the banners, but that didn't happen. So I guess they could also up the Annie hype by making the banners on the Annie just guaranteed. Not the new ones, but the reran ones. Because you know how these gachas are, okay? They still want to milk you. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Even if Wua buffs their older characters, it's just not gonna help. They'll end up in the same situation as HSR, kinda, where it's like, by the time the older characters are buffed, like half a year to a year later, the buffs will have been insignificant because they're just back to the same spot unless they do an insane overhaul of the kit, which is unlikely because they aren't new limiteds. Like, for example, the double pawns matrix buff of just making the DPSs do like 25% more damage, like that still wouldn't put a lot of those DPSs on like top tier 2.x DPS level, even if they did implement that. So it's like Does this really fix anything? Not really. On top of that, they're not gonna get any new teammates like the newer characters are. So it has to be like an insane buff. Like you have to do what HSR is doing with Sparkle and Black Swan right now, and like Kafka, right? They buffed Kafka, and then they also made her synergize with a new character. So now Kafka's value is insanely high if you want to run Dot. Black Swan with these new buffs, I'm not sure how true it is, but I've seen a calc of like E1S0, um, Iceland Swan, and like Kafka. Like that shit does an insane amount of damage. Apparently 68% stronger as compared to using Cyrene, which used to be the new like best in slot Iceland's team, right? Insane amounts of damage. So now Black Swan and Kafka are like staples in the Dot team. Or Sparkle, where they just buffed her so absurdly to the point where she can be used in so many teams these days. Like it needs to be like that. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Uni. That's what I'm saying. I was saying that even with the buffs, at max they would be able to reach 2.x level of like the later DPSs. But in my opinion, that still isn't enough. And plus, yeah, I remember seeing something about why Jinshi is so good at cheesing it, and Jinshi is also like a rare case scenario. I don't remember why, what it was, but I remember there's a specific reason why Jinshi can cheese it so well. Yeah, exactly, Jeffrey. Like, I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to the most recent buffs and some of the better buffs from the original batch in HSR, those buffs are phenomenal. Like they're really good. But the DPSs obviously end up falling short pretty quickly, which is kind of unfortunate. It's Honkai support rail, so what are you gonna do? But like the buffs are good in HSR, they just don't do them often enough or for enough characters. Hey, Gabi no- Maru, off topic, but I want your opinion on something. What is it? I can't play WUA due to time constraints, so I want to quit HSR since HSR is much easier since it's the grind for artifacts that is time saving, but I've been hearing a lot of negative things. So I'd like to know your thoughts about it. I mean, if you're going to quit something, you have to make sure it's of your own choice and that you're not really being influenced by outside sources. Like, do you want to quit HSR because of what other people are saying about HSR, or it's because your enjoyment is low? Like, I'd never quit about the shit people say about HSR. I made my community post recently talking about how, like, this entire new path, Doom posting that people do, like, it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yeah, new path has best in slot teammates and light cone jumps that aren't good. Okay, it just don't feel good. But then you look at the other characters that aren't part of the new path releasing on the same version. It's the same bullshit, right? Firefly. What teammates did she want throughout the entirety of 2.x that could synergize with Break? She had HMC, she had Fugue, and then she had Ruan Mei and Ling Sha, right? So only Break specific characters. She couldn't really work with anyone else because it'd be a noticeable fall off. So even though this is a destruction character, she's still niche because she's tied towards a certain mechanic, right? Acheron, on top of this, is the same situation. She was so restrictive that you wanted double nihility to fully activate a trace in her kit. This is very similar to like current Ameth and LUUK kit, more so Ameth, where like she wants everybody on the team to either inflict Toon Rupture or inflict negative status. It's the same thing with Acheron, right? Acheron wanted two nihility of the same path, so that she could be played as optimally as possible. And so Jiaoqiu came in, and he was way better than every other option. People were complaining about Acheron's signature jump. Like, it doesn't matter. They do the same thing even if the characters aren't part of a new path. In my opinion, a character you like being part of the new path is usually a good thing, right? Unless you're in a Naglea situation or you're in a Sparksy situation, if you are part of like the shield team, your team will last way longer than others just because it's part of the new path, right? Other characters still have to pay the same bullshit price of best in slot teammates, maybe being reliant on Eidolons and signature cone. They deal with the same bullshit, but one gets shield more. That's really what people should be pissed about. Luckily for me, I'm fucking ecstatic for Yai Sakura. So, hey, I win in the end. There's a difference between archetype synergy and path synergy. There just isn't. Especially if the jumps to alternative options are similar. This is the problem. You can make this argument if like the path synergies were fucking game changing, but they aren't. Because they still have the same jumps, right? Like you look at Anoxa, if anything, if we were to look at characters who are most reliant on reaching their peak performance throughout the entirety of Amphorius, you have Hyacine for Cassie, but then I'd argue the most notable one is Cyrene for Anoxa. Anoxa without Cyrene needs like damn near triple the cost to achieve the exact same thing, right? Like the jump is absolute insanity for that guy. And he this is a perfect example, right? Cuz he was considered the most general DPS in the entirety of 3.x. That's what he was considered originally. And now he's one of the if not the most reliant on a specific character, right? And then obviously you also want to have Ceridra. Ceridra is way better than any other option alongside Cyrene. So it goes hand in hand. Yeah, the banner placement blows. Like that's 100% something that's fine to complain about. This is the first time they've purposely put like two best in slot characters, like best in slot for the same team, with each other. Now you could make the same argument of Tribby My Day, right? Because even though Tribby was best in slot for My Day, Tribby was just so general she was best in slot for a majority of characters. The same applies here. There's a high chance Yao Guang will just be the universal third slot support that most people use for every single elation DPS. And it's not a Sparksy specific thing, but it doesn't change it, right? But when it comes to like light cone jumps, reliance on teammates, it just isn't a path specific thing. So many characters still suffer from this bullshit when they aren't even related to paths, right? Yeah, I don't disagree, Jeffrey. I don't disagree. I'm currently hogging my pulls on my Cassie account, and I think I'll continue hogging them. And I'll go for E2 EI on when she runs, and then from there, I'll decide, what teammates I give her. Because by then, we should have beta for 4.3, and given this game's track record, if they do decide to make, like, more relation characters for Yai, that's when they would come out. Or they can pull the same shit they did with Sparksy, and Silverwolf would be best in slot. But it's like 50-50 whether or not they'll do that. I think there's a decent chance this new Silverwolf could be DPS. So it could be like more of a Cassie and Noxa situation where there's just two different DPSs on the Annie. I can't stand Woowa and ZZZ Gooners either. I mean, I'm probably the worst channel to watch for that then. Because, like, all I do is Goon. Although I don't make videos on it. Who would you say is the most cost-efficient DPS from 3.x? Phanon. Either Phanon or Evernight. But because Evernight is more reliant on RMC, who people are probably going to get rid of to do EMC, and Phanon isn't, I'm going with Phanon. Not a Noxa? No. Because once you get like Cyrene and all that out of the way, Anoxa's vertical investment options are kind of cheeks. Like you can get E1 Ceridra, so I don't know. That makes your Anoxa like 20 to 30% stronger. You can go all the way to E2 Cyrene. That'll make him about like 20 to 30% stronger too, again. But that's basically as far as the investment goes for his team. That's it. Phanon still has his S5. He still has his insane E6 and E4. His E2 is just like you guys need to understand, right? Phanon going from E0 to E2, like to the total DPS increase for his team is on the level of an Anoxa getting Cyrene, Ceridra, E1 on Ceridra, and like E2 on Cyrene. Like his E2 is just absurd. Isn't getting 3 cost Anoxa the most efficient? Well, the thing is, Anoxa's ceiling stops there, while Phanon's doesn't, in my opinion. Because Phanon is one of the Amphorius characters that gets the least of a jump um, in the entire game, then I would say he's much more likely to get buffed in the future and then become stronger than every single Amphorius DPS currently. He's the most likely candidate. And it's like E2 S0 Phanon can still compete with Anoxa with like his best in slot team of Cyrene, Ceridra. And then that E2 Phanon will probably perform better in Pure Fiction. Not APOC, but Pure Fiction. Because of the counter. It's similar. You can go either or. At the end of the day, you can just go for the character you like more. Whether you go for like a, horizontal investment in Noxa or a vertical investment Phanon, but they'll work similarly. Because, like, for example, I've talked about this before. If current Sparkle buff Sparkle didn't have that bullshit of, like, her buffs disappearing when entering a new wave for Phanon, she would be best in slot for him. That's how easy it is to buff Phanon. Like, instantly, new best in slot, buff Sparkle. Now he's even stronger than he used to be. E2 Sparkle has defense shred. Oh my god, the synergy. Right? It is so easy to buff Phanon. It's crazy. It's so fucking easy. Hakush updated? Oh my goodness, dude. Unless you mean updated with the old info. If not, they're fucking scrambling. This delayed ass beta has the Woowa devs working their asses off. Oh my goodness. Huh? What the hell? Do I have to kill this guy over here too? Did he just... He just despawned. There we go. They added Hyvatia in Double Pawns Matrix. Isn't that the new boss that was leaked? That might be interesting, I'm not gonna lie. A new boss with their hologram moveset? Mmm. Oh, it's the fly. Wait, no way. Wait, is it the one I think it is? No way, right? Oh my god. Yo. There's no way that nah. Dude, this thing flies like crazy. They're adding this? Dude, there's no way. Like, I just want to show you guys, right? I'll stall it a bit. When she goes into her flying phase, dude, you can't do anything, man. Come on, go in the flying phase. Go in the flying phase. Or maybe I was thinking of a different boss. Nope, there you go. Like, dude. I think she goes even higher for some moves. Oh, Ripkey, you on. Yeah, this is a ton of aerial moves. Like, yeah, people are gonna be struggling, man. If they actually like replicate the moveset, people are gonna be struggling like crazy against her in that. Even worse, a sentry. Yeah, there's a second phase, if I remember correctly. If that's the right boss, there's a second phase where she's like way higher in the air. Like you just can't hit her if you're a melee character. It's impossible. Goes way higher in the air, and it's like 15, 20 seconds of being up there. That can prove to be a pretty big issue if they put that move set in there. The only reason it makes sense is because it shills LUUK and Ameth. Because LUUK has aerial combat and Ameth does too because of her mech. So it's like both of them would not have any issues. Mm. Oh yeah, LUUK is Spectro, so it would be Res. You're right. Hey, but LUUK is so strong it doesn't matter. If they keep his current damage, to be honest, he could just deal with the Res. He's also gonna have a shield buff for sure. Like those double pawns matrix shield buffs are crazy, dude. Nah, LUUK doesn't ignore res. Oh, buffs haven't changed, really? Oh, I guess they'd still. Oh, okay, they just shield the Toon Break one. Yeah, they just keep shilling the Toon Break buff. Never mind. There's like this one buff for like Toon Break. I remember watching Gacha Smack temporarily do a Double Pawns Matrix, And like Lene did like a 400k rupture. That combined with more an eye, yeah, that would go really hard for Luke. Just saw that Amy's team does 2.1 million damage right now. That's got to be something bugged. Well, they just nerfed her weapon. If they didn't nerf her weapon, her and Luke would technically do like near the same damage. But also, I think she's a little undercooked currently. There's no way that's supposed to be on purpose. Because if her actual like full best in slot synergistic team for Tomb Break is weaker than Luke's team that doesn't have his best in slot sub DPS, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't. I joined what happened to Luke. Nothing. Same thing from the beginning. Yeah, there could also be like issues that arise in Luke's kit that end up maybe making him weaker. But we don't know. It's too early. How do you feel about Galbrena being power crept in 3 patches? Anybody who genuinely believed pulling Galbrena was a good thing this close to the new version is slow. Like, if you admit you just liked Galbrena so you don't care, that's fine. But anyone pulling Galbrena for meta reasons is slow. No offense. Since Echo Shield buffs exist, I don't know if Galb is even power crept, not gonna lie. Oh, just you wait, Uni. Just you wait. QU1's new main DPS? Pfft, nobody will even remember who Galbrena is. What about those that got baited by 3.0 banners? I mean, I don't think anyone's power creeping Ameth until the next Senres. Like, this game has a pretty, like, linear way of understanding, like, who the strongest character will be. You got the Emanators, the Annie unit in Honkai Star Rail. In ZZZ, you got the Void Hunters. And then in Wuwa, you got the Senreses. So you had, like, Jinshi. Then you had Cart. You know, that is one. I'll give you guys that. But then after, it's like Cartethia has been the strongest for a long ass time now. At least for average players. He meant by the 3.0 rerun banners? Oh. I mean, that's even like I'm listen. I advocate for pulling for characters you like the most, right? Because that's what matters most when you play these games, personal enjoyment. But I'm just going to say this. If I personally catch you pulling in Augusta or a Uno in the big 26, my opinion of you has been lowered vastly. That's as far as I'll go. Meta slave, meta slave. I pulled Augusta and I'm trying to get Uno. Oh my goodness. No, why would you admit that? Why? And you're trying to get Uno the brick. The brick. Oh my goodness. GG's. You might as well just delete Wuwa. Just get a new account. I love my chat. I mean, the new units in 3.0, a lot of people are getting baited by the universal Linné. I mean, I already made my video on this when I made my must pull fallacy video. I agree that there's a decent chance they could just make another Linné but for basic attack damage for LUUK, and like, everybody using the argument of, oh, this is insane value, must pull, but it's only the beginning of the version. It is completely possible that they decide to make more sub DPSs who are as strong, if not stronger than Linné later on. Like, I agree with this sentiment, but if you are going to get like so-called scammed by a new unit, a general support is the best thing to get scammed by, right? That's like one of the best things to get scammed by, because you still have uses, for alternative teams if you don't have best in slot. Doesn't apply to DPSs though. Does not apply to DPSs unless you care about double pawns matrix, because that allows you to do like infinite teams. A CC told me to pull for though. Oh, I know. Every single CC glazes I see someone like the most popular WUA CCs legit calling her like the best pull of 2.x. Like, Lupa's right there, man. Lupa's right there. I did one multi on because she is hot and you won it. I mean, hey, that's a W. Anyone who gets like a character early, even if they aren't that great of value, it's good. Saint is probably the worst CC ever. I wonder what he's doing. Lupa in the big 26? Yo, chill, dude. Chill. Hey, listen. Brant hyper carry, mono fusion, amazing Galbraina alternative. Probably gonna be the next best alternative for Ameth's Toon Break team if you don't have Linné. Yeah, right? I like that. Mornai Shield Lupa. What is this agenda? You guys are just mad that Lupa's winning, okay? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how shielded she gets by new teammates. All that matters is that they exist. They are inevitable. And Lupa will be a support option. They added the deers in Wiwa? Wait, they're actually already adding the 3.x enemies to Wiwa? Oh my god, dude. Yo. Mornai might be a must pull at this point just for her fucking... What is it? Doesn't she give like increased stagger resistance? Oh my god. Mornai is trash without S1? Cap. Cap. Like, I can just tell that's a take I'd see from Saint. I can just tell. I can smell it. Even though I've had that guy blocked on my YouTube for like the last like 4 months or something, I can smell that take from here, right? Mornai is good. She does not need her S1. That shit is overkill. Okay? Yes, she isn't SK tier as a generalist without her S1. Okay? I understand. But her S1 just makes her better SK. And in the first place, being near SK level already has insane levels of value. Plus, you can use her twice in Double Pawns Matrix if that's something you care about. That matters, in my opinion. That's good. The only thing that does suck is, in my opinion, SK crit rate. It makes building characters so much easier. I will say that's like one thing I can agree with someone on. I would have preferred it if Mornai also had crit buffing in her kit because it makes building characters easier. But outside of that, I think she's completely fine. I actually got a double on Mornai S1. Nice. Get her S2 for the crit damage buff. Okay, now we're pushing it. Why has Wua not made a premium skin since Jinshi? Because Jinshi's just built like that, man. She's built different. Nobody can compare to the pristine Jinshi. I mean, I can agree with the Toon Break team being back to back to back banners. It is kind of insanity. Like, that is like a. I'm pretty sure that's a first for me. Like, since I've made gacha content creation, that is insanity. But people will use the excuse that she has a negative status team. So I'm not gonna make a video on it. I'm not dealing with all the semantics. I can, just like I can smell the bad takes from other CCs, I can smell the bad takes from my comments. So there's no point in having the conversation. No, I don't think 3.x will be Tomb Break focused. Only Lahai. I'd say there's a decent chance once we get out of Lahai, characters won't really bother with Tomb Break as much, probably. They'll have their own whatever mechanics. Gabby's chat doesn't know how to play Wua is what I learned today. Isn't that like every Wua CC though? Unless they're like a speedrunner YouTuber, like Yumi and like Eugene and stuff. I feel like every single Wua CCer who doesn't do like speedrun stuff has chats that aren't as how do you say it? Informed? Well informed on the game. Like I have to deal with my HSR stuff too, which is pretty obvious because I'm constantly crashing out. Every gacha game is being greedy as shit. To be honest, it's kind of crazy. Like, we went from games like Genshin came out, right? And then games afterwards, like the big ones like Wuwa and HSR and ZZZ, they try to like improve on the older Genshin system. And now you have these new gachas coming in that are like low Ken Yuanly, low 6-7 Yuanly, making worse gachas than these ones. It's like, why? Like, why are you sabotaging your own potential? You know what I'm saying? Do you go into Lupa? Obviously. Like, I'm not even trolling. It took me maybe like when I took like a what was it like a half a year break, nearly a year break from WoA. When I came back and I started like playing the game decently seriously, it took me like half a week to a week before I was a better than a majority of the WoA CCs I was watching. Because none of them do quick swap. Most of them don't even read kits, so they like fuck up their rotations all the time. Uh, a lot of them are old, so their reaction time is slow as fuck, and they can't react to the holograms. It's like it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I will admit though, I'm also not like I'm not like crazy good at WoA for sure. I'm not glazing myself, but it's because I purposefully choose not to learn how to play this game sweatily, because then I'll turn into a madman like I am in HSR. Like I can't get enjoyment out of HSR unless I pull some bullshit restriction on myself trying to zero cycle endgame. And then if I don't do that, I just feel empty inside if I clear normally. So it's like I don't want that to happen to me in WoWa. And it's also like once you become right, well, once you learn characters and how to play them as optimally as possible, and then you watch content of someone else playing that same team, oh my goodness, it's like you want to jump through the screen like, dude, play my character correctly. You know what I'm saying? How old are you, Unk? I'm 21. You don't spout misinfo or talk about things you know or you aren't familiar with, though? Yeah, I do try to do that for sure. But, like, most CCs don't care because it just makes more money the more stuff you talk about, even if you aren't well informed. Like, that's the thing. For a lot of people, it comes down to morals or money. So, which one do you think most people are going to take? They're going to take the money, right? Personally, I don't care about how much money I make on YouTube. So this shit is like full, personal shit. It's not like me trying to push a brand or anything. Unk? If 21 is Unk, I might be dead when I turn like 27. Are WUA CCs essentially agenda pushers? Uh, a lot of the loud ones, yeah. But there's a lot of good WUA CCs, man. I really like watching Yumi's runs. I like watching Eugene's runs too, because they show up on my recommended a lot. Um, I like Rin, of course. Rin. There's a few others, but I don't really know their name. I watch Thunda. I also watch Thunda. I watch Juice here and there. She's a little closer to the, you know, not fully informed but making videos thing, but like that's fine. She doesn't make like super inflammatory takes or anything. So it doesn't matter. Get that bag, queen. Right. There's a lot of Wua creators that I think aren't that bad and they don't like go into the drama shit. It's just that the drama ones are usually the loudest and they get the most attention. It's kind of how it is. Oh yeah, Sweetly, Sweetly. Yeah, that's the one that was like on my head. Sweetly, that's the other one. There used to be Maggie as well, but she's just gone. Now, I don't even care about the drama thing. Okay, I know about the drama thing. But she was like the best guide maker this entire space had. So it's kind of unfortunate that she went. Oh yeah, Rexlin. I also watched Rexlin a lot when I was getting into Where Winds Meet. He does a lot of games. We need Tectone back, please. No, dude. Oh my god. What the hell is a green site? I mean, technically, Zanny can compete with Luke's damage if you're a fucking top tier speedrunner. And that's like an averagely rotationed Luke. So, obviously, there's a no brainer for why 99% of the player base would get Luke instead. Also, for like the third or fourth time to mention it, one of the best teams to invest in if you don't want to pull SIGs. Lene doesn't need her SIG. Static Mist exists. Warnai doesn't need her SIG. Fucking blows. And Luke has a free to play alternative. $34. Why'd three people say 34 in a row? Are you guys think it's like a Rule 34 site or something? I mean, I don't know. If we're talking about the characters I've gooned the most to. Hmm. See, this is where things start getting, difficult. I am an experienced. I'm a veteran in this game. I'm like an experienced veteran, right? I know Ellen is guaranteed in here. Ellen Joe is guaranteed. Ellen is guaranteed. It it'd probably be Hu Tao after this. Ellen, Hu Tao. Would it be Farina? It'd probably be Farina. Yeah. Ellen, Hu Tao, Farina. That's probably the three I've probably gooned the most to in my life. Yeah, that's normal ball knowledge. That's normal ball knowledge for the Heliosphere. Very, very normal. Sparkle's my favorite from HSR. But like the thing is I started gacha gaming with Genshin. And that's also when I'm pretty sure around that time was when I found out what like hentai actually was, I think. No Chisa or Sparkle? I mean this is like old time. Top three. Chisa is like hella recent. So no. If we're talking about my current top three, it would still be Ellen. Uh, it would probably be Alia from anime. So it would be Ellen, Alia, and someone else. That would be between Farina and Hutao, probably. Fu Xuan. Mm, Alia from Roshi Dere. Yuki is better. I mean, I like them both a lot. I liked Yuki at first more, but over time I ended up liking Alia more. Do I really sound older? I feel like I sound younger. Like I know people usually when they hear their own voices, they think of it differently as compared to other people. But like to me, my voice sounds hella young. It doesn't sound old or like an older person. Well, yeah, my Twitter, I think like most of my recent Twitter reposts on my secret X account have been Francesca as of late. But that's more like a phase, you know what I'm saying? That's a phase. You sound calmer than people your age. You haven't seen the crash out videos, that's why. But that's mostly because I'm antisocial. I don't like I'll talk on stream and I'll talk on my videos, but outside of those, I do not talk much at all. I'll speak like 10 sentences a day at max. Yanami? Yeah, I also love Yanami. Is Ameth S3? I think S3, if there's any sequence for soloing, it's S3 you want. Because it gets rid of a restriction in her kit that requires her to have like mono tune rupture or negative status teammates to activate. So it would probably be S3, I'm assuming, when she shines. Similar to Cart. Voldimaru, what do you think of LUUK's leaks? I mean, is there new gameplay? If there isn't, and it's the old gameplay, I think his animations are chopped. I think chopped. Yeah, there's no new gameplay. Does not look good right now. Yeah, like I was thinking about it of how funny it would be if his animations were ass, because then the LUUK mains would go crazier and like the preferential treatment would look more obvious. But like, dude, like I'm sorry, it just isn't close, dude. They gave Ameth like three different like super long detailed animations, and then she also got that one like Exostrider one, like her nuke at the end that literally summons him fucking nuking the entire thing and turning the screen black. It's just, oh my god, dude, it's Cassie Anoxa all over again. It genuinely is. It's Cassie Anoxa all fucking over again. They nerfed LUUK, weapon and inherent. Yes! Yes! Ameth! Ameth, rise! Ameth, rise! Let's go! I'm winning the bet. I'm winning the fucking bet. Let's go. Rigged. Uh, LUUK not even hitting 2 million now. Let's go. That's probably an exaggeration, but hey, what's the point of not gambling? I play gacha games at the end of the day. Might as well gamba. Well, that's actually true, Uni. I mean, if both of these DPSs end up being around the 2.1, 2.2 mil mark, like I'm gonna be dead ass. This is a good thing, by the way, but these new version DPSs are chopped. They are fucking chopped. No power creep equals boring. Yep, that's the price you have to pay. No power creep equals boring, but healthier for the game. Choose your or pick your poison. Well, no, they're not chopped as in bad. It's just that they aren't anything special, which is weird, especially for Amy. because she's a Senres. See, now I'm picking up Uni's nickname for Ameth, and because it's shorter than Ameth, I'm probably going to end up abusing it now. This is how my brain works. Once it catches on to like a nickname or something, like lately I've been calling Silverwolf Sylvie. Ugh. Now you're lying below 1 mil without Lene? Who said that? If LUUK hits below 1 mil without Lene, holy shit, he'd fucking blow, man. Jesus. Like below 1 mil? Brother, can't even touch Gian at that point. Well, Gian's the fucking GOAT. 3.x main DPS level Gian, let's go. She's a Senres equivalent, even if she isn't like an actual Senres. She has a 6-star tacit mark, just like every other Senres in this game. Nobody who isn't a Senres has a 6-star tacit mark, except Canarella, who technically was a main candidate for being Senres, and that's why she had it, but then decided not to become Senres. So, he was 1.3 million with Sanhua before the nerfs. Now imagine after he lost 40% damage bonus. 40% damage bonus wouldn't make that big of a nerf. Removing 40% damage bonus probably makes him like, I don't know, like 10% weaker at max, maybe a little more. So he'd still be over the milli mark. You know what this means, guys? The no power creep means Rebecca. It's actually crazy. I continued playing this game even when I found it dry as fuck, like mid 2.x, just for this Rebecca from the Cyberpunk collab. So now I have less fear of pulling my Rebecca. Let's go! How high is Cartethia's DPS? For average rotations, like 2.1 million. Similar to Zanny, if you like bother to sweat your ass off with the team, it can be stronger, but do you advise against pre-pulling Yao because I want the flagship team? Yeah, I would. Because even if Yao is best in slot for Yai, what they'd likely do is because it's 3 patches later, right? 1 patch after Yai releases, they'll rerun her. So at max, you go 1 patch without Yao Guang, which is fine in my opinion. And at that point, 4.3, you can see into 4.4. That should be good enough, far enough into the version to have a solid verdict on Yao Guang's value. I will say though, I think no matter what, Yao Guang will be best in slot for Yai. I don't think this is a Sunday situation because she has SP positivity. She has really strong elation damage buffing and even personal damage. But most importantly, her ult makes everybody do their elation skill instantly for free. And considering how much I've seen Sparksy and Yao Guang do without another third elation sub DPS on the team, I see that being a pretty big like overall buff to elation team's damages. So I think she's 100% going to be in there. But I'm also going to take this precaution and maybe not pull Yao Guang. Can't wait for Rebecca to be the next Kyuan. She might not even be Kyuan level. Because from the Step League's roadmap, she's a support. She's not even like a sub DPS. She's a pure support, which really blows. Ugh. But even so, I'll still find a use for her. Simply because I like her that much. Same way I found a use for the Brat team in Weewa, which I actually still need to level up. Well, actually, I don't need them because I have Fro now. Fuck. Just wasted mats, man. Add Plunderer to TOA, please. LUUK lost 30% damage amp? Wait, it's amp that he lost? Not bonus? Oh, that changes things. That is a lot more of a significant loss. Damn. So they really aren't doing like any power creep at all with the new version DPSs. Mm. Hey, I'll take it, man. It's actually crazy. Both games have caught me off guard now. HSR caught me off guard with Sparksy. Because Sparksy, she isn't near the strongest team in the game. And now Wuwa does it too. Both of their new version DPSs don't power creep. What the hell? Dude, I swear to God, Dawei and Solon are in cahoots. They did this banner system shit, going back and forth, and now they're even copying each other when it comes to the new version DPSs? What's going on, guys? What's happening? Am I like dead? Am I just dreaming or something? What the hell? Oh yeah, I agree, Uni. But at least for now, it looks decently promising for both. So you were wrong when you said that the new version DPS will power creep Cartethia. Well, it's only the first version. So technically, yes, if she went live this way. But there's two caveats here. One, it's just the first beta. There's going to be way more beta hotfixes and changes to her kit. But also, two, she has another team. So her other negative status team could end up becoming the strongest. Hit that 2.5, 2.6 milli mark. And I'd still be right. I don't take bets I think I'll lose. Well, that's nice, meow. Alright, guys. I have been riding this bike for too long now. It's been a fun talk with the new WUA beta. Finally! Holy shit, this beta was delayed a million times. What a joke. But it's been fun. I'll, of course, update you guys on any other future changes that I really care about or matter. And I'm going to go out. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great